I speak not just to entertain, but ultimately to influence those sitting in these seats. You know, if you think about it, entertainment is like a spoonful of sugar. Helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down. I'm sorry, I'll stop. Look, here's the thing. If you want your message to be heard, you got to make it interesting. Now, to entertain in your speech is simply to grab and hold your audience's attention. And you should use whatever tools you can to appeal to their mind. But what I'm most interested in is influencing their heart. Because genuinely, that is the key to change. Not just the information, but the courage, the heart to implement the information. In fact, I would say that my entire speech is carefully and methodically designed to help the listener take my message to heart. You know, it reminds me of my cute one-year-old daughter, who we call Baby Katie. Now, she hates vegetables. But as you know, vegetables are very good for your children. I mean, if she had it her way, she would like eat chocolate every single day for every single meal. And who's to blame her, right? Chocolate's amazing, it's awesome, it's tasty. But I'm her dad, and I know what's best for her, right? She needs a balanced diet, and she's got to have some vegetables. Here's the thing. I have found that when you give someone what they need, packaged with a little something they want, everybody benefits. I don't want to like give you some sort of like cheesy, unrealistic motivational speech like, be the best. Be the best. I don't know why I'm bending my knees like that. That's like, you know, you've heard this, but oh, be the best. What? Shut up. I'm not asking you to be the best. I think that's cheesy. I think that's unrealistic. What I am asking you to do is be your best. That is my point. All of us in this room, you cannot dodge that. You cannot escape that. All of us in this room do have the opportunity to be our best. So as you saw, as a speaker, that's pretty much what I'm doing, right? I'm giving the audience what they want, an entertaining presentation, right? Because we've all been in presentations where we're sitting there just going, please punch me in the face, or please, dear Lord, cast narcolepsy upon me so I may fall asleep because this is horrible. So you're giving them what they want, something engaging and entertaining, while feeding them the wisdom that they desperately need. You see, as speakers, we have to start the conversation with where someone is currently at and then lead them towards where they should be at. King Solomon once said it like this. He said, wisdom is the most important thing. So get wisdom no matter the cost. And above all else, take care of your heart, for your heart determines the course of your life. And like a loving parent, as speakers, we help our audience take our wisdom to heart. So the first principle is this. As a speaker, give the audience what they want while feeding them what they need. If you do this, you will truly influence your listener towards positive change. The second principle is to focus on audiences that are hungry for what you have to say, right? There is nothing worse than speaking to an audience that doesn't really care, right? On the flip side, I can't think of a better audience than the education market. I mean, think about this, right? Everyone in education, by definition, is committed to learning, right? And they are desperately in need of your message, considering the challenges that youth and those who work with youth face on an everyday basis, right? Think about it. The local school is an incubator of innovation, information, and ideas. Every school is committed to progress. Bottom line, if you have a desire to influence people, in my opinion, schools are the best place for that. Here's why. Schools are a melting pot of the community. Schools are widely diverse yet unified in their mission. Schools cross the divisive barriers of race, religion, politics, and economics. As a speaker, you can enter your local school and get paid to teach an entire gathering of students or teachers or parents and have a massive impact on the community at large. You can speak at conferences with student leaders, teachers, administrators, or mental health professionals that serve students, right? Here's a crazy thing. You have a never-ending opportunity for impact. I mean, there are so many schools. There are over 130,000 K through 12 schools. And that doesn't even count like colleges and universities and conferences. And that's in the US alone. And many of the speakers that I coach work worldwide. Now, not only that, but then think about this, right? Here's where things get really crazy. Schools are, as you know, on a 4-year cycle, right? Providing a never-ending source of new audience members. So think about this. Within 50 miles of you right now, there are scores of schools with thousands of students, teachers, and parents all gathered together who could benefit from what you have to say. I am convinced the best way to get your message in front of the most people is to work with schools. Over a dozen years ago, I started out in a small town in Oklahoma. And to be honest, no one really knew me or cared who I was. I had this really rough childhood and overcame some significant obstacles. I had learned some life lessons the hard way. And I suspected, just suspected, probably like you do, that other people could benefit from my lessons. There are 2 ways to gain wisdom. One is by learning the mistakes on your own, and the other is by learning the mistakes from the person that made the mistake in the first place. So I wanted to spare young people the pain of learning life the hard way. I figured that if I could help them before they messed up, that would give them a better life. And by simply partnering with local schools to share my story and to share the wisdom that I had learned, both good and bad, I became known locally, regionally, and eventually statewide. I carefully continued to nurture this momentum and then sort of bumped up against, almost accidentally, that there was this entire nation of schools ready and ripe for this sort of message. I have literally been able to reach millions of youth and adults worldwide and have been paid millions of dollars traveling across the country sharing my message. Now, if you ask my 3-year-old son what I do for a living, he'll tell you that his daddy gets paid to talk, which of course he can't understand. Why on earth would anyone pay this man to talk? I would pay him to shut up. But it's true. I started this whole journey for one reason, to make a difference, and then discovered and honed the process for making a great living as well. Think about it. This is what I love about our industry, right? In our industry, the only way to make more money is to impact more people. You literally cannot separate the two, right? Think about it. If you sell, if you got a book or something and you sell 10 books, your book will influence 10 people and you'll make a little bit of money. But then what if you learn the strategies for selling 10,000 books? Well, then you'll make more money and you'll influence many, many more people. I will never forget the moment when I realized that I could make a difference and a living at the same time. I remember as a high school, like in an auditorium, sort of like this. And after my speech, this girl came up to me and handed me a suicide note and said, "Thank you, I don't need this anymore. You saved my life." And then literally like 5 minutes later, the event planner came up to me and handed me a check for speaking at her school for $7,500 and said, "Thanks, you did a great job." And so it was like in that moment, I'll never forget it. There were 2 pieces of paper in my pocket. And I remember thinking about it and it was like, one of those pieces of paper was a blessing for the effectiveness of my message. And the other piece of paper was a blessing for my family to provide for us a lifestyle that we dreamed of living. Looking back, it's crazy that all of this started locally and has now grown internationally. All of this started by partnering with local schools in Oklahoma because I felt like I had a message that perhaps, maybe, just maybe, other people could benefit from. Pretty amazing. So this year, I am committed to training an army of speakers whose messages will positively impact youth culture. But all of the students that I work with must be motivated by one priority, truly and genuinely making a difference. We all want to reach the heart of people sitting in these seats. That insecure student, to challenge her to stop making unwise choices and choose to do something meaningful with her life. The addict, convincing him to have the courage to enter a rehab and find a new circle of friends. The leader, provoking them to stop sitting around and start serving others, sparking a movement on their campus. The parent, equipping them with practical techniques to manage the chaos that sometimes is at home. The teacher, reminding them of why they got into teaching in the first place and sort of reawaken their calling to help students. As speakers, we exist to communicate life-changing messages. Period. End of story. The true success of our speakers is not based on how many gigs they book or how much money they make, but is always about the impact they make. That is our litmus test for success. And I am humbled to say that the speakers I work with are very, very successful.
My name is Pat Whitehead. I'm the director of the Homestead School in Ridgewood, New Jersey, Bergen County. We have 75 students who were inspired today by Yaya, who did a really super job of having a good balance between reality, humor, put it together. The kids responded quite well. In fact, they have told me they were quite inspired. I was happy to give him this chance, and I hope you guys will consider doing that too. Nice job, good assembly, absolutely hit a home run. Good job, Yaya.
I was just so blown away by what Brooks had to say today to our kids here today. Just the way he presents his material to the kids, the effectiveness, and the fact that you have all these kids engaged and listening to what he has to say. It's just the ability to have that type of content so rich and so engaging is just fantastic. This message about calm and kind and how to treat one another and all the choices that kids can make and their impact on lives. He did it with such a way that the kids will know, we'll just take that home and be able to use that every single day.
Hi, my name is Samantha Lai. I go to the University of Florida. I just heard Juan speak yesterday, and to be honest, going into a workshop like that, I kind of expected, it to be boring for me to fall asleep. But I mean, it was definitely the complete opposite of that. It's very invigorating, and I think one of the most important things that he mentioned yesterday was to encourage, especially young women, to step outside of their comfort zone, because it's so easy to just stay in your complacency, but you really can't achieve your biggest ambitions unless you do step outside of those comfort zones, and I think after that it's encouraged me and pushed me to do things that I wouldn't normally do, because I shouldn't be afraid of the bad things that could happen, but rather look at the good things that could happen because of stepping outside of the comfort zone.
And I'm the Associate Director of Student Life and Leadership Development here at Century College in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Go Wood Ducks. And we had Yo Pal Hal here today for our Student Success Day, where he did 2 keynote presentations and was absolutely adored by all of our students. They came away saying he was motivational, he was exciting, he was entertaining, and just all around fun. We've had compliments from both faculty, staff, administration, and of course all of our students here at Century. We would definitely bring him back in the future and strongly recommend him to anybody that is excited about learning and motivating themselves to do better and live their dream.
I'm Linda DeAndrea, the Vice Principal at Father Frederick McGinn, and it was a pleasure to have Blake present to our grades 6, 7, and 8 students. A lot of the presentation was motivational, but it was also the approach that he took in terms of helping them with the transition from grade 6 to 7 and from elementary school into high school. His stories are enlightening. He has left a mark on each of the students here at the school, and hopefully his message will come across with every new person that our students here at Father Frederick McGinn meet. So thank you to Blake for an amazing presentation.